Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a team that is here to trap. It's a team that's built around HIPPOWDON. HIPPOWDON with a fast move of Ice Fang. And with a meta that Altaria is dominating currently, we're going to have here a very interesting Pokemon that is able to bait out flying type Pokemon and punish them instantaneously. Not only this, Ice Fang got buffed a few seasons ago, also Weather Ball got buffed this season ago, giving you quite a bit more pressure with this Pokemon as well. We see already in the first battle here on what power this Pokemon has, and honestly, I think Ice Fang HIPPOWDON is one of the most interesting Pokemon to run in this current meta. So yeah, let's join in here for this very interesting team, a team that isn't designed to really be like the strongest in terms of the Pokemon that we use, but one that can maybe counter the meta. And we see already in the first battle, we had a hard lead loss and still won this one. And so, welcome in here, let's dive into a team that is running some Pokemon that you can upgrade a bit more in order to make it a bit more meta-friendly, by the way, just in case you were wondering. We're going to take a look at a team with HIPPOWDON Sace-Up. HIPPOWDON is a very cool Pokemon because it's a ground type that can beat flying type Pokemon quite easily. And of course, for ground type Pokemon, usually there's nothing worse than a flying type Pokemon. But not only this, you're also going to have access to Ice Fang for those grass type Pokemon, like the Credilli that we currently are facing here. So it has multiple purposes. The thing is here as well, with a rock type as a coverage, you're going to be able to beat even some of the Pokemon that would come into you as an answer as well. They are not flying types, like here the Arachnid is going to take some super effective damage here. What I have to say though, I do think that this team could be a little bit more balanced than what it is currently, and we're gonna dive a little bit into what you can do in order to maybe adjust it a tiny bit to make it even stronger, because I do think that the HIPPOWDON Gaston backline honestly is a very, very cool one for this current meta, for the Jungle Cup meta. But yeah, there's like one type of Pokemon that can be a bit tricky, actually two type of Pokemon that I feel like can be a little bit tricky the way the team currently is. But we're gonna talk about this in this video here today as well. And let's enjoy a Blast Burn here from our Charizard, but is it going to be enough to win us this battle? Of course it's not, as the Steelix is still there. This still has a shit left. So, here we're going to have Digger Speed against us. That is totally alright. Our entire team can actually deal with that one here, which is alright. And yeah, what is the problem of this team? The problem of this team is when you encounter elite like Altaria, you only have one good answer for that. Elite like, I don't know, like a Moltres, where yes, you have a solid answer, but honestly, in hindsight, I would have actually went for mostly different Pokemon in Elite here. I do think that Charizard did a great job here generally. I think Charizard wasn't a bad Pokemon whatsoever, but I feel like there could be other Pokemon that could be a little bit more interesting to take a look at. One of them would have been a Wigglytuff. And then you would have had a very, very toxic team, of course, but a team that would have a bit more balance towards it. It still can struggle a little bit though against Credilli, but I could see that this could be a better answer for just some of the other Pokemon where you're just going to have a little bit more play with it. But yeah, this would be an interesting shout. You can use Drapion, for example, as well in the lead, which could be also an interesting shout as well for that position. But generally speaking, I'm happy with Charizard, don't get me wrong. I just had like 1 or 2 times where I encountered a Dragon type in the lead, and it's like, what are you gonna do there? Like, what are you gonna do there? Realistically, there's not really a lot that you can do there. So that would be interesting. Another Pokemon you could use in the lead, which I would find interesting as well, would be Shadow Gyarados. Shadow Gyarados would make a lot of sense as well for this team. Generally speaking though, HIPPOWDON Sace-Up is a very funny Pokemon here, and we see, by the way, here right now, literally a sweep from HIPPOWDON, destroying all 3 Pokemon from the opponent. And I think we all know 3 games in and 3 wins in, which is very, very cool. Then HIPPOWDON destroying entire teams, which is even cooler. And yes, just HIPPOWDON itself as a Sace-Up is going to be such a tricky Pokemon to deal with, because in the GO Battle League, you have to kind of act within milliseconds basically in order to make your decision. So what do you do if you're going to see a ground type stopping in? Most of the times you're going to go into your Pokemon that resists ground, which is always kind of the flying typing, which double resisted. Just HIPPOWDON itself, which has like the unique properties here of having the Ice Fang as a fast move in order to kind of trap those Pokemon. I love it. Like, honestly, I think it's a great Pokemon to run. I think it's a top tier Pokemon to run in the current meta here, just because there's so many Pokemon that are weak to that ice typing. And why we, by the way, had also in the lead here Charizard over some of the other Pokemon that I mentioned before is that I was quite a bit afraid of Piloswine. And honestly, I barely even seen a single Piloswine. So yeah, I wasn't really in a position here where I really needed to have the Charizard either. I faced more Dragon type Pokemon in the lead than I faced Piloswine in general. I think I didn't even. I think I faced one Piloswine with this team. So yeah, that's definitely something to note. Here we're going to have the Clodsire against us. We were able to keep our alignment thanks to our what's called the Ice Fang version here of our Hippowdon. And with that, we're going to have alignment, and with that, we're going to be able to win the battle. And honestly, alignment is key for this team. And here we're going to see one issue as well. Lantern in the lead. Lantern in the lead, you see me swap out here straight away. The thing is, you actually don't have the worst matchup here, but what you can try to bank on is that they swap out straight away, thinking, okay, it's a ground type coming in, I have my electric type there. We just hope they swap out straight away. This is a core breaker, this is an issue for the team, but again, I'm not here to sugarcoat the team and be like, yeah, that's the best team ever, oh my god, please run this team. This team is for fun. This team is a team that has some potential to break the meta though, and this team still went positive for me as well, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, this team is bad either. Like, this team is actually quite nice. I enjoyed running this team. It's a very fast team as well. But there are gonna be some issues. For example, here, I ended up quite often where the Atari was just in the back, and I just didn't really have anywhere else to go with it. Here, shoutouts to the opponent. Bringing the XL Shadow Fletchinder is such a funny Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that I wanted to still build as well. I actually have, I think, a very solid IV version that I can build. I do definitely have a very solid IV version I can build for this Pokemon. I have the Stardust. If you want to see a Shadow Fletchinder, then leave a like on the video. I would definitely like to showcase that one. And I have one that is also not frustrated. So if you want to see this Pokemon, let me know down below. Leave a like on the video. It's a cool Pokemon. It has a bit better stats, I think, than the Talonflame. And it's just a fun one to run. And so, yeah, if you want to see it, let me know down below. Here we're going to try our best to still play up against this one, but it's going to be able to get to those flies quite fast, and because I had that shield advantage, it is a bit of a tough one. Fletchinder here, definitely not the Pokemon I designed the team against, but the opponent makes also a great play catching the move here onto the Digger's Beam. If they didn't catch the move, I would have most likely had a very solid time, but as we see as well, the fast move of the opponent is just doing a tiny bit too much that I cannot build up to 2 charge moves, which now kind of puts me into a very bad position that I don't really have the play of winning against, because what we see here is the Scorching Sands coming through. It's going to do some solid damage. We're going to try our best to go for one water move here as well, for one water pulse. You're going to get the shield. And as we will see, we're going to let this move go. This is going to be the Scorching Sands coming through, and we're going to have the Fletchinder coming back in, knocking us out here. Good game to the opponent. What a funny Pokemon to face up against. But also, let me know down below, what are you currently playing? Like, what league are you currently playing? Are you playing Ultra League? Are you playing the other cup? I would love to see it in the comment section, as we will see here now the next opponent. Where again, we are going to face up against the Gastrodon. In this case, this is not too bad, because what is actually bad are the flying and dragon-type Pokemon, as our fast moves resisted of our Gastrodon. This time around, we use Gastrodon as our safe swap, because I know I can take 2 Brutal Swings and I can go for 2 Body Slams before they're gonna be able to take me down. But we're going to have, as well, the Gastrodon coming in from the opponent, which is actually alright, because we're gonna get some nice damage in, and also, honestly, I don't really want to face this Pokemon with my other 2 Pokemon. And so I even force them to go still for another Body Slam themselves, which is going to be absolutely perfect. Like, we're going to be in a perfect position here. But also at this point, I know that I don't really need my Charizard. I know that they have that Gastrodon still. And so what I want to do is actually, I want to let this move go. I hope they go for the bait, which they do, which is going to be a big risk, which is not going to work out for them. And I just decide to stop out of here now to get out the Scissor. And I'm gonna go for the bait move, and honestly, I kind of regret it instantaneously, because of course the opponent is going to no-shield this, but then again, actually, that bait move, the Weather Ball, with a recent update on it, did more damage than I expected. Way more damage than I expected. Perfectly to put them into a range where we're going to be able to knock them out here, but they're going to still have the energy on the Gastrodon, and I still think they're going to have the energy on the Gastrodon as well, which puts us in an awkward spot. I'm gonna farm them down here with my Charizard, and I end up with a Blast Burn. And as long as we're gonna win the scene Pitta with our other Pokemon, we're gonna win this battle. They actually expected this going to be a bait. It wasn't. We're gonna be able to one-shot the opponent, and we can move on to the next one, where Riccardo awaits. This is going to be great for us, because they're going to stop out into their Altaria, leaving our Hippowdon in a position of farm down. As we want to see as well, Ice Fang is actually doing so much damage against the opponent, double super effective hit, that we're going to be able to farm them down in time, and we're going to end up here with a ton of energy stored, with a Pokemon out of the way that our backline and generally our Pokemon that we still have left don't want to face, and perfect alignment with a Charizard having the Air Cutter now up against that Riccardo. We're going to be able to get this move off. Do we get the boost, we are gonna get nearly the KO, we're gonna see us swap out into the Gust Lord. Now it's going to be a bit of a tough one, but because the way we swapped out, we're actually gonna be able to sneak in that extra free fast move in against the opponent, which is going to be perfect, but we're gonna have to go for that body slam spam. What do I do now? Do I shield, do I not shield? I actually decide to no shield. The reason for this is, like seeing my HP, I'm going to be able to still take a hit here, but seeing also my HP like this, I know I'm not going to be able to take another hit later on, because they're gonna put me into farm down range, and then 2 body slams are going to be enough to knock me out. This is just not the case right now, and so I can swap out into my Charizard, I can use my shields here rather instead, where I still have enough health left in order to take the fast moves from the opponent. I can go for my own charge move, hope for the boost of course, but this is looking way better for me. This is going to allow me to get the shield, we don't get any boost here at all, but I want to go now straight from a charge move to hopefully win the battle. Let's see, Brutal Swing comes through, they're gonna go for fast move, they're gonna go for another one, and I actually accidentally overclick, and with that the opponent can go into their Wigglytuff. We get the KO here, but we have to make a catch, and we do make a catch here perfectly onto that Brutal Swing, allowing us to win us this battle, and we can move on now to the next opponent, as this Air Cutter is going to be enough to get the KO. As we will see here next, the opponent is gonna go ahead and move on here to, like, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next opponent, I would say. We're going to have any Moltres against us. That is going to be an interesting one as well. This is going to be kind of what I was talking about. Imagine having Wigglytuff in the lead. I think this team would be better with Wigglytuff in the lead, personally speaking there. I do think it's going to be a better team with Wigglytuff. It would leave you a little bit more vulnerable against those grass-type Pokemon, which is mainly Credilli in this matter, but I still think it's going to be the better one to go for. And here you see me not going for the Blast Burn, and you see me swapping out into my HIPPOWDON. I think this is the right play, because what I just did with that is I got rid of the energy of the opponent's Pokemon there, of their Moltres, but I also put them into Body Slam range for my Gastrodon. I still kept a very hard-hitting move, but the issue is the opponent is going to have their Scissor here. They got the attack drop onto them as well, which is kind of funny, but the issue is that they are gonna have this Pokemon, which I cannot farm down yet, even though I have super effective fast moves, and I decided to get some extra energy on my Gastrodon, thinking this is most likely the best play of, well, like, still having a chance of winning this one. And I stopped out, went to my Charizard, knocked them out, the Credilli comes back in. I know already at this point, with Credilli and 0 shields on my side, I don't think that the Gastrodon really had a great time there. Oh no, Gyarados. Here, again, if you had Wigglytuff in the lead, I think this would have been a better matchup, of course, for you. But also still, HIPPOWDON has a lot of potential. And here's the only Piloswine I've faced in all the battles. I think so far, full stop. I think I maybe faced one or something. Piloswine is going to be a Pokemon here, of course, that is going to be a bit more threatening for the team. I don't have a clear answer. My lead is quite alright against it, don't get me wrong, but I don't have a clear answer. I don't also really have a clear weakness. Like, this is the worst matchup for me, but like the rest is totally fine. Like here, I take neutral damage from the opponent. I can just go for my fast moves. I have them at 1 HP. It's not too bad. Like, honestly, Piloswine is not too bad for the team. So I do think we're kind of alright here. Gyarados comes back in. That is not good for us. That is not good for us. We're gonna get the shield here though from... Never mind, we're not gonna get the shield. They're gonna let the move go. That is going to be even better for us, I think, because now I put them into farm down range, and this is going to be more important than anything else. Now, as now I can go for the Ice Fang down. I'm going to be able to get nearly that KO. And as you're gonna see, they're going to have the Dunsparce in the back. And with that, we're sadly going to lose this one here. Nothing I could have done there. But we're going to have Scissor next. Scissor is going to be a great lead for us. And Dunsparce comes back in next, which we're going to at least now have the perfect alignment. To be fair, I was curious if it was not better to go into my other Pokemon, to my HIPPOWDON. But at the end of the day, it's going to be alright, no matter what's going to happen here. I'm going to be able to let the move go. This is going to be okay. This is going to allow us to, get that Water Pulse off. This is cool. This is going to be getting some nice damage onto the opponent. And we're going to try our best to go for a Body Slam here. This is going to be great. This is going to allow us to get some nice damage against them. And this is going to now also put them into range where we have the Scissor out. And I can just go for a Body Slam. What I try to do now is I try to kind of snipe them. I can go to my Charizard and apply immediate fast move pressure with my Pokemon, which is fantastic here. But it's not going to be enough to knock them out. But it's going to put them into the Ice Fang range even. And we're going to see the Altaria coming in. With that, this is going to be a good game. HIPPOWDON, once again, is going to be in a perfect position to win us this battle. And yeah, this is going to be it kind of for the video. Again, just to take a little bit of a step back here and look at the team itself. I think this team is amazing. I think the backline is amazing. I think Charizard is not ideal for it though. I think Wigglytuff is going to give you a little bit more wins, but this team still itself was great to run. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.